मत म्यूट मारदेले कौन हम मत शुभुव
अच्छा अच्छा रो रो मु निज को म्यूट मार दोची हां से हम कहू म्यूट कर से निज को म्यूट करले नना को कथा सुझा हां
ताको सुझा मत लगे दे के जा सेट कर बात कर हां अब हाइड करते हैं Good afternoon. So today I will discuss about how to import data into MATLAB. If data is given, how you will import data into MATLAB and how you will export data from MATLAB. So these are two things that we will discuss. Particularly I will discuss on importing data. Now a basic issue in importing data is given from other sources. Subhuni, got a minute. Subhuni. मन नेट कटि जाइए स्लो हो जाइए रिलोड करते हैं हेलो एबे शुभुची हेलो
आज्ञा सर शुभुची
हाँ ठीक अच्छे हाँ So I was telling that in this lecture we will discuss about how data can be imported. Now why it is necessary? Basically it is necessary when you are dealing with large amount of data that has been generated by somebody else and you are going to process that data. For example, in signal processing you have received some data, suppose audio data or video data you received. So received data will be at one place, then you want to process it using MATLAB. So you will use MATLAB and call that data or get those data or import those data which are processed, which are stored in other place as a file. So from that file you will read the data. That is the basic issue here. So getting data from other sources into MATLAB is the basic issue. That you will get data for further use. Other issues are what is the data source, which means what are the types of data, whether it is an Excel data or whether it is a text data or whether it is a numeric data. So types of source, from which source you have got the data, whether that source is supported by MATLAB or not. So if MATLAB supports that source, only then we can import the data, otherwise we cannot import the data. That is one point one has to remember while importing data. Second issue is what are the types of importable data. As we have discussed in the beginning, that MATLAB deals with two types of functions or two types of variables. These variables are either numerical. In the numerical you have two types again, integer or real, and the other part is character or string. So character or string are two types there, integer and real are two types. Now you should know what is the type of data that you are going to import. So that is another thing. Now with that we can keep on importing. Then it is what is the level of difficulty in importing the data. Now to do that, the simplest command is the load command. So if I use a load command, I can load data from a given source, right? So the load command opens and imports data. Now this data the source must be a standard ASCII file. You know what is ASCII. If you have read microprocessor, you must be knowing what is ASCII. So it is the source has to be a standard ASCII file. So ASCII file can contain characters, ASCII file can contain strings, ASCII file can contain numbers. Everything can be contained within ASCII file. So it must be a ASCII file, standard ASCII file. So that is first thing. Load can import from a standard ASCII file. Then what are the restrictions? The restriction is in the data is this should be constantly sized. The data should be all the data. Suppose you have 5 rows and each row has to have same number of columns. You have n number of rows, each row must have m number of columns. You cannot have a row which has suppose I construct two rows. First row has 5 columns, second row has 4 columns. Then there is no constancy. So they are not constantly sized. First row is 1 cross 5, second row is 1 cross 4. So that you cannot import using load command, that cannot be used. So load command cannot be used when they are not constantly sized. Data must be constantly sized for using load command. Then as I told you, standard ASCII file source must be standard ASCII file. Therefore that file must be ASCII. So data must be stored in the file in the ASCII format. And except the characters that are defined or accepted in ASCII file, no other characters should be there. So there should be, all characters should be conformable to ASCII file or ASCII format. Unless it is ASCII format, it will not take it. Now let us see one example. So create a file in a notepad or doc format, in the doc, DOC, document, using Word document, which is Microsoft Word. So either use Microsoft Word or use a text file .text. So use that notepad or Microsoft Word to create a text file, not a doc file. Create a text file. So first create a text file in notepad and save this text file as test.1 or test1.txt and test2.txt. So we are creating 2 test files, and both these test files will test. Now in MATLAB you have to set the correct path, which means where the file that we have just created using notepad or Word, where it is stored. So the location of the file. So set the correct path of the file and type load test1.txt or load test2.txt. Now when I write load test1.txt, by default we are in the location where the file test1.txt is there. If you are not in that location, then we have to give the full path name of the path name where test1.txt is there. Then we can write type x is equal to load test1.txt within bracket, within circular bracket, within bracket. Whenever I say within bracket, assume that it is circular bracket. It will always mean circular bracket. Otherwise I will say square bracket or curly bracket. So load within bracket, within quote mark, single quote mark, test1.txt. Now my test1 file will contain this data: 1, 2 in the first row, 3, 4 in the second row, 5, 2 in the third row, 4, 8 in the fourth row, and 16, 32 in the fifth row. So we have got 5 rows, and in each row the data is given. So this is my test1. So this is what we have created. Now let us see. And now if I create a test file using notepad, this is a file, we are creating a file using notepad. So open the notepad. You can see this is a notepad command window. This in the notepad command window we are storing it or saving this command, this file as test1.data. test1 data. So you can see in the top corner, right hand corner, it is test1 data. Now for test1 data, we are having the path where we are saving it. The path is given here in the blue color. Now look at the blue bar, that shows the path where this file is stored. So that is the path name. So from there we can always copy the path name and paste that path name in the MATLAB. So let us see how we can do this. So if we go to the next slide, in the next slide you will see. Now in the next slide, now you can see that it is a MATLAB command window or MATLAB file window, in which script file window, in which we are writing the program. So CLC is clear everything from the screen, then clear all, close all, anything that is open that will be closed. These three are standard, so we always put these three as the past three lines. Then data is equal to load, as I told you, load within bracket, within single quote mark, give the file name. Now here you can see load within bracket, within single quote mark, the file name is given along with its path. So C colon backslash users backslash Dhruva backslash desktop backslash text underscore data backslash text1 dot data. So this gives the complete path name. Similarly for the second one, second data, data1 is equal to load, same thing, only it is text2 dot data. Now we have not created, suppose we have not created one of these files, what will happen, that we will see in the next slide. So in this you can see that data, the moment you give data in the command window, then it will show you data is equal to with a square bracket, which means nothing is within the square bracket, it is a null matrix. So we have not created data for that file. This file text1.txt does not contain any data, it is a null, it has no data within it, that is why we have got a null matrix. Second one, if I write data1 after execution of this file, data1 will give me the data that we have given as input to the text2.txt file. So those data, as I told you, 1, 2, 5, 4, 3, 6, 8, 9, 11, 26. So these are some arbitrary data we have put in the file that has been loaded, that has been read and loaded. Now in any time you want to use data1, you can use data1, those values will be available in data1. So this is something about load file. Now you can see the workspace also for this. Now if you go to the workspace, in the workspace, what are the variables? The variables are data and data1. So in the workspace you can see two variables, data and data1. For data there is a null matrix that gives the values is a null matrix. For data1 it shows you the values 1, 2, semicolon, 5, 4, semicolon. So that way it shows you that it is a matrix which is a 5 cross 2 matrix. So there are 2 columns and 5 rows. That you can confirm from the workspace, seeing the workspace. Now suppose, as I told you, one of the restriction is they must be, the size of the matrix in every row must be same. Now suppose we do not have same size. Like this, we have created in the notepad, we have created a file text3 and .txt, which is 1, 2, then 4, null 4, then 3 null, then 8, 9, then 11, 26. So first row is 1, 2, second row, first column is not there, second column is 4, third row, first column is there 3, second column is absent, fourth row both the columns are there, fifth row both the columns are there. Now if I want to read this file, we have created this, then store it, then read this or load this. We try to load this into MATLAB. So we will write y is equal to load test3.txt within bracket in quote mark. So the moment we write that, we will find an error. Let us see whether we are finding an error or not. If I go to the MATLAB window, same size, same file is shown in the top right corner. and we are writing the program CLC clear all, close all. Then data is same as the previous case, data 1 is same as the previous case. Now we are having data 2. Data 2 is equal to load same thing text and 3.txt. Now the moment we run this, at that moment we will find out error. Now error says that error using number of columns on line 2 of ASCII file. So there is a error in the number of columns in the line 2. In the line 2, as you can see, line 2 has only one in the row, second one column. Instead of 2 columns, you have 1 column. Therefore, it shows you an error. And it shows where this error is. Error in data import. Data import is an internal file in the MATLAB. So in that, when you try to load it, load calls the file data import, and in the data import file, line number 10, there is an error. So that error is here. Also now in importing data, you can see line import number 10. Now type the same thing from the test1.txt into Excel. So whatever data was in the .txt file, same data will put in an Excel file. Excel file, you know what is Excel file, that is also called a workbook file. So type y is equal to load test.xls. Excel files are always stored as .excel file, .xls or .xlsx. So these are the two formats. Older format is .xls, newer format is .xls and x. Now if you do that, what happens? Let us see what happens. Now this is no, go back. Now if I do that, then XLSX, that will give me an error because the new version does not support XLSX. Now you have to do some manipulation in this to read XLSX file. Now instead of using the load command, we can use another command which we can see in the next slide. The next slide shows that import data. Instead of load, replace load with import data. Import data, then within bracket in single quote test.xls, that will import. There will be no error once you read this. So that you can see that there is no error. It is a structure file, structure with fields. It has read it, imported it. It is a structure with fields. Answer, you can see it is a one cross structure. Okay, since we have not created anything, it will not show you anything. And if you have created anything, it will show you the Excel file, so that you can see at the bottom what is the Excel file, what are the content of the Excel file, that you can see in the bottom. Okay, and in the middle is the workspace file. Now let us complete what we have learned and what are the precautions that we have taken with load file. This one, load file, works for simple and unstructured codes. So that is one takeaway from load file. This is a powerful tool and it is easy to use, but it has limitations. Like if all columns are of not same size, then all rows are of not same column, it cannot read. So those limitations are there. Most likely it will force you are forced manually to handle simplifying data. So therefore you are always prone to error. So that is there, because of the limitation you get some error. There is possibility of getting into error. And advantage is more complex functions are more, you have to use more complex functions for being more flexible. This flexibility in load file is limited. So if I want to increase flexibility, I have to go for more complex functions. Now if I have to use more complex functions, how I will do that? Because I know my data is stored in a file, then I have to read or write into the file, or I have to deal with the file. Therefore all these functions that will handle the file start with F. So F star means start always starting will be with F. So F star means this starts with F, then star is the command, rest of the command. So F and rest of the command, that forms the complete command. Okay. So these functions are associated with file opening, file reading, file manipulating, writing into file, etc. Basic functions of interest for opening and reading generic files in MATLAB are fopen, fclose. If you open a file, usually you should close the file, otherwise that can be get corrupted. Then fseek, ftail, frewind, we will see examples of these, fscanf, fgetl. All the examples we will see, and you can see that in each command the starting is F, which means it stands for file. Okay. So we'll go to the next slide. Now in this slide we are not using the load command. Instead of load command we are using fopen command. Now you can see we have written clc, clear all, close all. So all the files that we have loaded, everything got cleared, everything is closed. So now since everything is closed, we are starting afresh. Our first line is I am writing file is equal to fopen text.txt comma w. Now here within bracket in quote mark there is text1.txt comma within quote mark there is w. Now what does this mean? The first one represents the file that is going to be opened. fopen opens the file text1.txt, and this is opened for writing into the file. So this file will be opened, then you can write into this file. This file may contain something, may not contain something, may be blank, may not be blank, but you can write into this. W stands for writing. So dot and W. So opens the file, name this to write. Then fprintf, that is you are going to print into the file or writing into the file. So fprintf file, hey, it's your text. So that now you can see whatever you are going to write, that is within double quote. Hey, it is your text, that is within double quote. So print the data in that file. So this is what is being done. Then once this is over, once you have dealt with the file, your job with the file is over, then always remember to close it. So fclose file. Fclose file will close the file. Now I have written file. File is a variable. Now you know variables are dummy. So you can write file, you can write fid, you can write f1, you can write a file1, fid1, anything, any name, a, b, c, d, x, y, anything that you want you can do with this. Now let us try to check inside this text file. We have opened it. Now if I open this text file in Notepad, you can see that we have started opening a file. This file may not exist earlier, since I have written fopen, means for the first time I am opening it in this case. If it is existing, it will open it. If it is not existing, then it will create a file and open it. Now here it has created the file text1.txt and opened it. Then it has written into it, hey, it's your text. So if you open it in Notepad after closing this MATLAB, you can see, or after fclose command, you open the Notepad, in the Notepad you will see, hey, it's your text. So you can check it and see this. Now let us see what happens if I go to reading a text file. So for reading the text file, you can count. Now let me count how many characters are there. A is 3, it is 3, 3, 3, 6. Within them there is a gap 7. Then there are 4, 1 gap. So 5 plus 7, 12. Then there is another gap, another 4. 12 plus 5, 17. So there are about 17 characters in this. Here it's your text. And now if I write this, length of the text, my length of the text is 17. So to be on safe side, I can write length of the text is equal to 20. So if there is any dot, or if there is any other space, that will be taken care of by this. So length of text is equal to 20. Then file fopen text1.txt within bracket in quote mark, comma r in quote mark. R means you are reading the file. You cannot write them. If you write R, then you cannot write into the file, but you can read from the file. So this file is opened to read. So you open a file to read from the file. Then text, what you will read, that will be stored as a variable text. So text is equal to f scan f. This will scan the file. Scan f is scan the file. So it will scan the file, f scan f. File is the variable that was given the name that for the file earlier. So that is for text1.txt. Instead of writing text1.txt multiple number of times, a short form is file. So file, instead of file you can also here write text1.txt. So file comma c, %c. %c is the format in which the characters are or numbers are there in which you want to read it. Now I want to read it in characters. So %c is I will read characters. How many characters? That is given by length of the text. So this will print the data in that file. Then it will close the file. Then since it has read, now let us try to see what is in the text. Therefore we will write disp. Disp is display text. So if I put disp text, so it will display in the command window. Here it is your text. You can see that it is the command window. It is not the notepad. Notepad has a yellow border. Command window has a blue border. That is how I distinguish here. So command window, in the command window it is writing, here it's your text, then it goes to the next line into the command prompt. So you can see the command prompt below. So that is about reading and writing into file, opening a file, reading from the file and writing into the file. Now let us say how to get data. As I told you, there we used for the formatting, the format of the data was character. So we used %c. Similarly, there are many other formats like %d or %i, that is for integer, right? So those are integer type of formats, integer sign. Integer unsigned is %u, right? %o, so different formats are available. You can choose them as per your requirement, and if you want help, go to the MATLAB site or use the help command in the MATLAB and you can get the help on this. So please remember that you have to tell MATLAB the type of data it should be expecting in the text file, so that it can convert it, whether it is numeric data, whether it is character, whether it is string, if it is numeric, whether it is floating point or integer. So everything you have to tell. If you tell it, it will be easier for MATLAB. Otherwise you may get into error, because number one can be a number, one can be a character. So MATLAB will not know how to distinguish whether it is a character or what is your intent, whether you intend to use one as the number or one as character. So numeric one can be something like that, or any number, numeric value can be represented as character or number. So to distinguish them, to give a clear picture, try to give the type of data using this formatting. Okay, so let us see something else. File fopen text1.txt comma r. So this will open the file named text1.txt for reading. Then text is equal to fget l. Now fget l is a function which reads the line in the file. So this will print data in that file. So text is equal to fget l file. This will print data in the file, then close it, then display text. If you write display text, it will give you this command. In the command window you will see here is your text. Now fget l returns one line of data. So after that, if you write another line for xtitle, it will write another line of data. Suppose we have a text file that contains many lines. Here I am showing you 4 lines, 4 or 5 lines. Optical fiber communication, digital switching system, power electronics project work EC, embedded system design seminar EC, VLSI lab. So these are some course numbers, and we have how many? 5 lines. Now if I use fgetl, I will read one of these lines, first line, the line that is appearing at the first point. Then again, if I use fgetl, I will go to the second line. That way I will keep. Now before going into that, so these are available in a file. You are reading from the file. So what is a file? Right. So let us try to understand what is a file in a very short notation, short of thing. File is a specific organization of data. You keep data in an organized manner at some place, and that place is called a file. The place that holds your data in an organized manner is called a file. So it is a specific organization of data. In MATLAB, it is identified with a file identifier. FID stands for file identifier. We have used up to now file identifier as file. File is equal to fget or fopen that we gave. So that file is the identifier for the file which you are going to say fopen or fclose. Location is specified with a pointer. Now you can see that file will have suppose 5 lines. So pointer will point to first line, then you move the pointer downward, it will point to second line, move the pointer downward, it will point to the third line. So that is what is done. So location is specified with a pointer, whereas FID is the identification of the file. So with this knowledge you can use the fgetl. Now let us see what we are doing here. Now file fopen text5.txt ftell file. If I tell say ftell file, then L1 is a comment line. Actually, to stress on that part, I am putting L1 and L2. L1 is for line 1. So T line 1 is equal to fgetl file. Now when I say fgetl file, then you can see that in the above, when we said first ftell file, answer is equal to 0, there is nothing in the file. Then it comes to the first line, T line 1 is equal to fgetl file. So in the first line, that is the line 1, in the first line we have optical fiber communication, digital switching system, these are there. So that line will be displayed. Then ftell L, which means move the pointer to the ftell is moving the pointer. So initially pointer is at 0 where there is nothing, then pointer is at line 1 where optical fiber communication is there. Then you said ftell L, which means in the file you move the pointer to the second line. So it will show you T line 2 is equal to fgetl file. So that will show you T line 2 is equal to power electronics project work EC. Now you can see that on the right hand side we are seeing something. In the first one we saw answer is equal to 0. In the second one we saw answer is equal to 55. In the third one we saw answer is equal to 90. What does this mean? What is this 0? What is this 55? What is this 90? It actually tells you that you are starting at which point. You started at point 0, then you started at point 55, then you started at point 90, which means after 55 characters or after 90 characters, starting from the left hand side. That is what you are doing. So those are the points where you start reading or from where it is writing. That is what is shown. So pointer is at 0, pointer is at 55, pointer is at 90. Okay. Now fseek file 20 BOF. BOF is for beginning of file. COF is for current position in file, EOF is for end of file. Now fseek file 20 BOF, that means you will start at point 20 from the beginning of the file. So from the beginning of the file you will skip 20 characters, then you will start reading it or you will seek it. So fgetl, after that you can give fgetl, it will give you after it will leave the first 20 characters, from the 21st character it will show you whatever is in the file. So here you can see optical fiber communication. Out of that, if I take first 20 character out, then it will be from up to IM it goes out. In the communication up to N it goes out. So optical fiber COMM UN, that part is not there, that constitutes 20 characters. So that is not there. So after that, from the beginning we went up to that, then from there forward we have got everything. So communication digital switching system, it is there. So that way you will write. Similarly, COF is current location of the file. So if you write COF, then from current location it will skip that many characters. So if you write 20, it will skip 20 characters. If you write 0, it will start from the correct location itself. End of file, it will skip that many characters from the end of file towards left. Okay. And now that you can see here, file fopen text5.txt, file ftl file, which means you are asking the pointer to move to the next line. tline fgetl, fget1, fgetl file, then ftl file, tline 2 fgetl file, ftl file. What does this do? We have discussed this, that every time we are moving pointer by one line or to the next position in the pointer. Now if I use this command, seek command, fseek file 20 BOF, you have understood, we have said what is meant by file 20 BOF. File is for the file, 20 is 20 characters, BOF is from the beginning of the character. So this will set the position of the pointer from where you want to read the text. So if you want to read the text from 20 characters, leaving from the beginning of the file, you put this. And then you can also write f rewind. Rewind means you will reset the position, it will come back to the original position. Now those corresponding to these two commands, you can see the answers in the bottom. Answer is communication, as I told you in the previous one case. If I use file 20 BOF, it will skip the first 20 characters. So from the communication up to ication, everything is left out. From ication it is reading, ication digital switching system, that is for the first one. For the second one, it is rewind. So f rewind, so it has rewind, so it will go to the beginning of the file. So everything will come. Optical fiber communication digital switching system, everything will come because of the rewinding. And so this is about 5 functions, different types of file reading and writing. Now let us look at some realistic files. When you use really in practice on practical files, in the practical files you will get a header. Usually you will get a header. Suppose you look at your mark sheet or grade sheet. In the grade sheet you will get a header in which it says what is your grade, what is your roll number, and what is your mid-sem mark, what is your end-sem mark, what is total mark, what is grade, everything is written there. So those are in character. Then your grade or mark are written in numeric values. Now in that case, you usually, when you read the file, you usually read the numerical value. Then characters are to be neglected. So that we do usually in 2 methods. Option 1, there are 2 options. First option is manually go through deleting the information that is not important, and import the data, numeric data, what is important for you. Otherwise, you ask the MATLAB, write the program in such a manner that MATLAB will delete and format available data during its execution, right? So let us see what I said in the next slide. You can use, if you are using a realistic file, you can use the read table. A read table, if you use the read table command, that will easily read from the table and it eliminates the first column. You can see in the table on the right hand side we have got a Excel file. In the Excel file, first row under A you can see item 1, under list 1, under B you have got list 2. So list 1, both list 1, list 2 both are shown here, but you do not want to read that list 1, list 2. If you do not want to read that list 1, list 2, but you want to read it in the manner of a table, then you can give T is equal to read table. It will read list 1, list 2 and write that list 1, list 2. All the numbers will be written. If you do not want this, that you can eliminate. Now since you have got it imported into your MATLAB, you can use that in this matrix. You have got a matrix which has 1, 2, then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you have got a 7 row 2 column matrix, 7 cross 2 matrix. So 7 cross 2 matrix, you will read from this 7 cross 2 matrix, you will leave out the first 2 columns, the first 2 rows. From the third row you can read always. As you know, you can handle whichever row you want to read, you can read that row. Whichever column you want to read, you can read that column. That we have discussed earlier. So use that and read the numerical values. So that is possible using MATLAB. Then you can use also text read. There is another powerful function for the input almost for any text file. This is another, like